Hi everybody, it's Mike here from the Positivity Garden. Just wanted to make this vlog in relation to what's going on in Ireland in particular, but also around Europe at the moment with the severe weather and the expectance of what they're calling the beast from the east in terms of the Siberian type weather and blizzards that were due both tomorrow and Friday. And I basically wanted to speak and talk to you all in relation to the panic and the fear that's gripping so many people right now and in such an exaggerated manner. And what I speak in relation to is the buying of food stocks and bread and milk and items like that as if this is Armageddon and as if this is the end of the world. Relax, people. This is an event that's only going to happen over a number of days. Of course, the priority is safety. The priority is not amassing food stocks to do you for the next month or the next month or two. And I've seen it happen in the last few days here in Ireland in stores. It's all over the news where bread stocks and milk stocks and meat stocks and stocks, like I've just been in our local supermarket across from my house and most of the food in the fridges is gone and people are like filling up trolleys like they've more so than they even did in winter. Don't believe the scaremongering and start following your common sense and not the fear. For one, look at how fortunate you are already to have the money or the access to buy those foods. Look at how fortunate you are to have a roof over your head, to have heat or a way of being heated over the period. There are so many in our country and in the world not as fortunate. So many homeless in this country, so many people living in poverty that don't have that extra money to go out and bulk and impulse buy out of sheer panic and sheer fear. Stop the fear. Stop the panic. Stop believing what you're seeing in the news and different things in relation to. Well, and I rephrase that. Stop believing what you're picking up from the news. What they're telling us and what happens in many countries around the world in winters is stock up on what you need for X amount of days. And in this case, for today and tomorrow and Friday and Saturday. It's not even going to be bad on all those days. It's going to be bad at the most for 2 days. 2 days. And even if you didn't have bread or milk for 2 days, so what? What's the panic? What's the fear? So you're picking up on negative energies of fear, which can manifest very easily and which can grow very easily. And when that happens, it becomes a compulsion that most people have, and I've seen it. Instead, concentrate on the common sense things. Make sure your home, if you're lucky enough to have a home or somewhere to live, is adequately protected against the elements during the storm that's due to come. As in, have you enough heating in your home for heating your house by natural fuel, i.e. briquettes, coal, timber, all of those type of things that people will need if they've got an open fire or a stove. Then, secondly, think of what you need in case things go wrong. So if the electricity goes, do you have adequate amounts of candles or a flash lamp or a torch or stuff like that that you will need? Do you even have stuff like freezer bags in case your freezer goes and you need to start protecting the food in it for as long as possible so that it doesn't have to be thrown out? And another thing that people are not realizing, that if your electricity goes in most houses, most people, unfortunately, all their implements and all their gadgets and all their electrical equipment is what is the only things they have for making food or hot drinks for themselves. So a simple thing like, and this would have been something they're not teaching us in school anymore, or kids in school anymore, or teaching people in general. I grew up in the countryside in rural Ireland, so this having no electricity in the winter and was a regular occurrence for us. So simple things like, if you've got a bat in your house, fill your bat with water every night before going to bed. In case there is no water or the pipes are frozen the next day, at least you have water that way. If you don't have a bat, go and get pots and pans and buckets or whatever you have and fill lots of water now. Make sure you have water in case pipes freeze or in case you don't have water the following day. Another tip to give to you in terms of food for the next couple of days, either homemade or purchase or anything like that. If you're not a good cook, then purchase. Have items in that can be heated easily on a fire or a stove. Items like a pot of chili con carne, either with meat or the vegetarian option. Options like homemade soups, stews. Make them now. Have pots of them made, or have items like that in your home that you can easily just get a small saucepan, and either if you have an open fire you can manage to put it in the open fire that you will be able to heat the saucepan full of food when you need hot food in you, or you can put that little small saucepan on top of your stove that there's enough heat out of a stove in order to heat your food. So it's common sense things like that that people need to do for this out of the ordinary weather forecast for our country, and which is happening all around Europe and UK right now. But remember, countries in Europe and parts of the world have been experiencing weather like this for years, and they survive and they manage, and they don't get scaremongered and fear and panic buy and think, oh my god, what are we going to do? Like, I was speaking to a girl in the shop yesterday who's from Latvia, and she goes, we get -20 in Latvia every year, but we manage and we survive and we have it for weeks, not for a day or two. So therein lies the difference. Just because this is something we're not used to here in Ireland does not mean we have to panic. Does not mean we need to lose the plot and start going out and panic buying in terms of shopping and stuff like that. It's more about your safety. They're warning on the TV right now, because of the onslaught of the weather, that everyone should stay indoors roughly from 4 p.m. tomorrow until 12 the following day. So basically, if you can, if you're lucky enough, from 2 or 3 o'clock tomorrow, and most workplaces are telling staff to stay at home or giving them the days off. So stay indoors. Make it a pajama day if you can. Put on lots of layers of clothes if your house is warm and you don't want to have the heat too much on all day, or you're saving your fuel for the day or the evening. Or if you can, make sure you have fuel going throughout the day, that your house is warm. And even if you can't warm all of your house, stay in the room where your fire is, and that keep that part of your house really warm for you. And the same if you're going to bed at night, if you can, have heat in that room or have a hot water bottle and stuff like that. And another little thing, and it's for all of you, is make the effort to help out your neighbours or the homeless or anyone near you. Don't do it just so that people will know you're doing it. It's not about looking for a pat on the back or saying I'm amazing. Do it for compassion. Do it for the reasons that you wouldn't like to see an animal existing outside in this weather. So if there is a homeless person on the street near you, encourage them to find accommodation for that night. Go into a local shop and buy them some hot food or a hot drink and give it to them. Give them money if you can afford to do so, but encourage them to get off the streets and to get into emergency accommodation. In terms of your neighbours and friends in any way that are vulnerable, take a half hour out of your day, and if we all did this, the world would be a better place. Go knocking on doors, be polite, ask them if they're okay for shopping, if they're okay for fuel, if they need timber or anything brought in from their shed into their home. Just make that little effort. Just try to make sure everyone is okay. People don't do that enough in the world anymore. Don't do it for a reason of getting thankfulness or whatever, or a pat on the back. Do it because it's the right thing to do. And as I say, this is an unusual weather occurrence for Ireland, but stop the panic, stop the fear. See your safety as number one. Go through your house, look at what foods you've stockpiled or you've got since Christmas that you're still going through. Make meals out of them now. Make the sort of meals that you can, like I give a simple example. If you cooked a load of jacket potatoes tonight, you can very easily then wrap them in tin foil, and the same with lots of other fuels or foods. And if the electricity happens to go or anything like that, you can then put them beside the fire or on a stove, and there's the way of heating them up. The same thing for making tea or making coffee if you like drinks like that. Use a little saucepan or something like that and put it on a fire or on a stove. It's like, remember how they did things before we got consumed by electricity and conveniences and microwaves and everything. There are ways of doing this, and remember, it's only for a few days. So people need to calm down. People need to look at the first thing, which is their safety, and after that look at looking after yourself and looking after others. And because this time next week this will be over, and that's what I'm trying to get through, is that there are way worse things going on in the world. There are people being bombed to bits day in, day out in the Middle East, in countries like Syria. The weather is not a concern of theirs. Staying alive is a concern of theirs. There are homeless on our streets sleeping in sleeping bags. Staying alive is a concern of those. So not having enough milk or not having enough bread or stuff like that is not a real concern in this day and age. Stop thinking with blinkered vision. Think of the big picture. So to all of you out there, I hope that everything goes okay, that you're all safe and well and warm over the next few days, but also think of others in worse circumstances that may need help or may need to be checked up on. But again, this is Mike here from the Positivity Garden, sending positivity and love and light to all of you out there. And just remember, do that little bit for others, and in the big scheme of things it will be a big thing for you. Stay safe, stay warm, love and light to all.